The first thing you need to think about when considering your first road bike is what kind of geometry is going to suit you best. And bikes fall broadly into two categories: sporty bikes and race bikes. You may have seen professionals like Bradley Wiggins riding along with a really flat back in a sort of aggressive aerodynamic position. But for the vast majority of us, this isn't sustainable for long periods of time and can take quite a while to develop the core strength required to hold such positions. The difference in geometry between a sportive bike and a race bike tends to be in the front end and where that is in relation to the saddle. So a racier bike will have a lower front end and the handlebars will be further away from the saddle as well. And the two dimensions you should look at on a geometry sheet are things we call stack and reach. So a racier bike will have a longer reach and a lower stack. By having a shorter reach and a higher stack, you're actually able to get into a more relaxed position with your back at a more upright angle. And this is what the vast majority of people can sustain for longer periods of time and is probably more comfortable. The next important thing to consider is the material that makes the frame and the fork, because this can have a really big impact on the way a bike rides and feels. So for an entry-level price point, the most common material for the frame and fork is aluminium. But if you can stretch to it, you will also find bikes in this price point that have carbon fibre forks. Now this is really good because carbon fibre has dampening properties and can reduce vibration, making the front end more comfortable. But also it's lighter as well, so you're reducing overall weight on the bike, which is always a good thing. The next important thing to consider on your bike is the group set and the components that come on it. As you go up in price and up the group set hierarchy, the parts get lighter and shifting performance increases, but the price does go up. It's worth getting the best group set you can afford because you do get what you pay for. So what to look for on an entry-level road bike? Something really important with road bikes is sizing and having a bike that fits you and is the right size for you. Unfortunately, this isn't as simple as simply saying, I'm this height, therefore I require this frame, as everyone's different. And in our experience, the best thing to do is to actually go and sit on some, and if possible, test ride them. As you go just above the £500 price mark, the larger manufacturers such as Giant, Specialized and Trek start to enter the market with their entry-level aluminium frames. These generally come with lower quality group sets, so things like Shimano Claris and maybe Sora if you're lucky, compared to the other brands such as B-Twin and things like Radial, where you'll probably get a slightly more exotic group set on those bikes for the same price. But the larger brands tend to offer very extensive warranties on their frames too. You generally get what you pay for with road bikes, so it's worth buying the best you can afford. However, in order to experience the freedom, fun and fitness that road cycling can bring, there's no need to spend the earth.